Okay, so we are getting busy on our power hour. We are right on the heels of Super Saturday and Leaders Retreat. We are 1 week and a half into our New Year's resolutions. Remember that I mentioned that because we're going to come back to it here in just a second. But what I want to do today is make a plan. I want to make a plan with all of you. I want to make sure that we're not just saying things, that we're actually doing them. And speaking of that, I have met a really special lady at corporate, and you may have seen her before. Her name is Michelle Minnick. Michelle Minnick is one of those people that does what she says she's going to do. And when I got to speak with Charles one time, we sat, I don't know if it was at a lunch, it might have been a lunch when I went to Arizona to do a talk at one of the employee meetings. But anyhow, he said something to me that really stuck, and he talked about the power of keeping your word. That it's so important that people can always know that whatever you say you will do, who you say that you are, that they can count on that to the ends of the earth. And that is something that I have incorporated into my leadership, because there have been times I'll say, I'll message you back today, or I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And I don't, because life. But that's an excuse, and it's not okay, especially if you want to be a leader, right? So Michelle Minnick is one of those people for me, and I'm super excited for her to share with you her love for Plexus. She is the ambassador collaboration lead. So, oh yep, Diane says she loves Michelle Minnick. So this is going to be amazing. Here we go. You can unmute, Michelle.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
That was so kind, and I feel like I'm already like kind of emotional. Like, that's so sweet of you, because today is my 5-year anniversary with Plexus. It's my Plexiversary. Yeah,
so
okay.
You're gonna go to Las Vegas. What did you choose? The cash or the Las
So
Vegas?
we get to go to Leaders Retreat the following year. So depending on how things go, obviously we don't know, but the next trip that I would go would be to Leaders Retreat. So that's what they do for the 5-year employees. And I'll get into all of the things that I love about Plexus, but that's just like a fun perk, right? That we get to go as 5-year employees on these incredible trips. And it's not that we just get to go, but we get to experience it at the level of the highest achiever. So if you get like not the shopping spree, but like if you get like the VIP gifts, if you get to go to galas or dinners, the employees are also invited, and they also highlight them on stage. So you saw this year at Leaders Retreat, they kind of did a little bit of a different thing. So technically, because mine wasn't by the end of the year, so I wasn't included in this year's 5-year, but at the next Leaders Retreat event, that's when you would see me. So yeah, but that's really exciting. I also got to go to Hawaii once, which was amazing. I think my 2nd year with Plexus, I got to go to the Emerald Extravaganza and help. And I was like, okay, mind you, they were like 15-hour days. It was very long, and the time difference, but zero complaints for me. I spent a lot of time in my room though, finishing up my degree while I was in Hawaii. So like I was like writing papers in the middle of the night. So that was super fun. But I digress. So I am the ambassador collaboration lead. And so what that is, I work with Chris Pike. So any of you who've been around for a while probably know who Chris Pike is. Chris Pike was all the things. He was like communications, he helped the jewels, like he did everything. And as the business has grown, he's kind of honed his skills into really listening and being an advocate for the ambassadors, and really being that person who kind of has one foot in the field, one foot in corporate. And so I'm like his second in command. So that's what we both do. We really listen to the field. So it's not just the jewels that we listen to. Obviously, we have our jewel focus groups, our diamond focus groups, advisory board. But we spend a lot of time messaging people, calling people. I connected with the field so much in my prior role. I was previously a liaison, and then a coach or advisor. You might know them now as regional sales managers. But what I did a lot of was calling people who were kind of the up and coming leaders, right? People who we could see that they were just doing incredible things, whether they were brand new or they had been around for a while and just needed a revamp in their business. And just giving those people a call and cheering them on, asking what they were doing, and honestly congratulating them for taking that step to work their business when they could and how they wanted to, right? So by doing that, I've really made this pretty strong connection with the field. with really anybody. I would consider all of you leaders, anybody who has started their business, has gotten their first enrollment. So I always refer to the field as leaders. Um, so connecting with those leaders and just encouraging all of you and listening to you, right? A lot of the times I really love to talk to people who are silver, gold, that senior silver, right? Because you're in this place in your business where you don't necessarily have like hundreds and hundreds of people, right? You're not having to manage these very large teams. You're kind of at the beginning. And how can we make the business stronger for people who are just starting out just like you? I love that our leadership consistently says that we're a business not of 1,000 millionaires, but 1,000,000 thousandaires. And I think that's something that Charles says, and I love it. I love that. And so I really love listening to that level of leadership. Okay, so when I started with Plexus years ago, yeah, looking for something different. My degree finished up with Plexus in public administration for the government, which I say was exciting. I used to work in court, and it was kind of a day that you work at the worst, but I just found that it was truly fun, and I wanted something. So I decided to look at it, and I didn't know anything about Plexus or about Plexus. And I'm an Arizona native. Like you would have thought that I would have heard about Plexus before. So I started at Plexus and I started in customer service actually. Can you guys hear me?
It for like a maybe 20 seconds, it went in and out, but it went right back to normal. So we're good.
Okay. So when I started, I actually started in customer service because I just wanted to get my foot in the door somewhere while I was trying to figure out what I really wanted to do in changing my career, right? So when I started, it was the beginning of 2016, and anyone who was here in 2015 knows that just a few months before I started, really, we had what I think a lot of people refer to as back office like Armageddon 2015. And this weird, crazy thing happened where certain orders weren't going out, but it was our best seller. So triplex, for some reason, for some people, just wouldn't ship. So when I started, it was kind of crazy town, right? We had all of these people calling in and really high call volumes, and the waits were really long. And that's what I started in, right? But I think the reason that I knew that Plexus was really like the company for me was after about, I don't know, a few days of being on the actual phones. Also, side note, I started like the Monday after Super Saturday. So all the jewels were in town and we did a grand opening. Did you come to that grand opening, Jen? And they all came into our new employee orientation class and everyone was just so nice. And I was like, wow, like this company is legit. And then in training, we learned about all of the products. And I had previously studied health and nutrition. And I thought about maybe going down that path. And I was like in class, like, does anybody really know? Like, do you all really understand how amazing these products are? So I think, but the icing on the cake for me was talking to people on the phone who were obviously upset that they weren't getting their orders, but that they didn't want refunds. None of these people wanted refunds, right? They were like telling me their stories. They were telling me how much their lives had been changed. And I was like, this is real. This is such a like how do more people not know about Plexus? And like what more can I do to really help out? And I did bring a couple of ideas up. So we actually were kind of a volunteer army. I was like, hey, we can all be on the phones or we could go to the warehouse. So I threw that idea out there and they sent a bunch of us to the warehouse and we started shipping orders because we just have to be proactive at that point, right? So that was really fun. So I kind of got to see how the warehouse works, that whole process. I got to meet a lot of people in the warehouse, so I still have really great connections with. Um, but yeah, that was kind of crazy time. And I think we hit a record number of orders that month in March of 2016. And we finally fulfilled all the triplex orders. People were getting their products back in their hands and feeling great again, right? And then a few months later, obviously that the position opened up when I became a liaison and then I became a coach. And that's when I started working with the jewels and really understanding the business and getting to make these amazing relationships with people. So I was the coach over the Western region. So I had like half of the United States, I had Australia, I had Canada. I've helped with the open of those countries and just got to do some really incredible things. One really, it's not necessarily a fun story, but I love telling the story. Um, I had never been on an airplane before in my life. I'd never flown. And in August of 2016, there was a flood in Louisiana in Denham Springs. I don't know if any of you are from Louisiana, so you guys might remember that flood that happened. I think it was in July, but it's kind of that rainy season. And so many people were just like, had been affected by this flood. So we were calling, we were like, hey, what can we do? And finally, someone was like, you can continue to send money or supplies or all those things, but really what we need are hands. Like, since every single person was affected, we need people. So I was like, I volunteer, like, I'll go, like I'll totally go out there and do whatever you need us to do. So they sent a few of us out to Louisiana. So it was my very first airplane flight. Like, I'd never been to the even to the airport, which I know probably sounds crazy. I don't live in a hole or under a rock. I just never had a reason to fly. But they sent us out to Denham Springs. And for a week, we just went, and wherever we were needed, there was zero real plan. We knew one lady out there who was a senior Ruby, and she had a church. And so she was like, people are coming to me asking for help. So each day we'll just send you somewhere new. And we were tearing down walls, ripping up tile, pulling debris out of homes, really whatever we could do just to give our time. And that was probably, like, it was just another reason, right, to solidify like why Plexus is the place to be, because Tarl and Alec were like, let's do it. Like, let's do whatever we can do, right? They're so giving, they're so kind. And all of the leadership in Plexus, um, they're just great, amazing people. They're genuine, and those are the kind of people that you want to be around, right? So as I look at Plexus, as I look at my career here, I'm sure things will change in the future. I don't know if I'll always be in the collaboration department. Maybe I'll be in marketing someday. Maybe I'll be over in our warehouse making things more efficient. Who knows, right? But our leadership creates these incredible opportunities for our employees, and we're really like family, right? Um, I mean, we've seen people's babies be born. We support them outside of work, right? I think the strongest friendships that I've created are with some of our field leaders and with some of the employees that I connect with more now than people that I knew pre-Plexus, right? Because we just get it, right? We understand how these products work, how much we are Plexus like at our core, but we get to be individuals. So I don't know if that makes sense, but yes, Emily Burgess, you are one of my best friends. Been working with her since forever.
I was going to say this after listening to you. The quality of a company can be judged by the quality of the people it attracts. And so when I look at you, Michelle, it's just it's almost crazy how much an ambassador, I would think of the ambassadors out there burning with passion, loving the products. Like they say, I'm Plexus at my core, but you're saying that too. So hearing employees, you guys are doing so much for us. And to know that it's motivated by a love for Plexus, I think is what makes all the difference. So what would you think if one day you were a CEO at Plexus? Like, would you seriously totally flip out? Like, I could see Plexus making a way for so many people to move into that direction. I don't know. I'll vote for you.
Oh, thank you. I would appreciate that. Yeah, honestly, we have those kinds of conversations, with my peers, with other people, with my boss, obviously, who's Chris Pike. And honestly, like, if you guys don't know Chris Pike, he's honestly amazing. So when this opportunity opened up, I was like, how could I not work for Chris Pike? And he has just honestly paved the way for me to learn so much more, has really expanded my horizons. And he consistently says that, well, I'm training you to someday take over my job. Right. So he's like, well, you'll be director. So he went out of town. He's like, you can use my office because it'll be your office someday. Right. And so you speak those kinds of things into existence, and it just resonates. Right. You're like, okay, yes, like it when you're a leader and you tell somebody, right? Well, someday when you're a Jewel, you say it as it's matter of fact, right? So you know that it's going to happen and you're going to work towards that. And so now I say the same things back to him. I'm like, sure, I'm going to be a director when you become a VP, right? Not when or if, but when. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that was so good. I can even see that working for the products. Like when you lose all that weight that you want to lose, I can hear you saying that to somebody. Or when you start
Mhm.
sleeping better, it's just declaring it. It's that vision casting. Ooh, that's good. I wrote down, this is what I wrote down. You love working with people in the trenches, like the people that are actually brand new, trying to get their business off the ground. A million thousandaires. I love that because we take for granted sometimes that we're making this great income working from home. Like we think we should be doing better or more. People didn't want refunds when they didn't get their product. You'd think they'd say, give me my money back. They're like, no, please give me my product. And then speaking things into existence. So we are going to work our booty off using the inspiration that you just gave us. And I'm another pat on my back for asking somebody amazing to speak. Everybody unmute and give a big, huge clap for the amazing Michelle Minnick. Woo!
Woo! Yes. And seriously, to everybody who's on this power hour right now, early on a Monday, like you are making such a huge difference in your business. I cannot tell you the people who consistently show up for power hours are the people who I would see were the real movers and shakers in their business. So kudos to all of you for being on this power hour. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. I hope you have a great start to your week. I'm sure we'll talk soon, Michelle.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, that was really good. It is so important that you guys know that this is a heart-driven business, and you have to know that that is not just in the jewels. It's everywhere. It's in all of the executives. It's all of the employees, everyone at customer service. So I hope that inspiration fueled you, built your belief. Here's what we're going to do really quick. I'm going to call it now the CEO moment. All that means is I want you to go grab your points, grab your PV, grab your new joins, put it into your planner, wherever it is that you store those numbers, because you need to know them. So have your CEO moment. I'm literally giving you like 30 seconds to go do it because we got to do some work. We got some work to do. 30 seconds starts now. Okay, so everybody should have that written down. I put it in the chat. And just make that your daily practice, that you go in and always know, like you own your business, okay? The next thing I want you guys to do is, okay, raise your hand if you were at Super Saturday Leaders Retreat this past weekend. Okay, so we got some people. I'm trying to put this on gallery so I could see everybody. Give me a second. So what I want you to do is to intentionally go to the people that you know attended a leaders retreat on your team, whether it was with you or maybe it was another one of your legs that was at a different house. Think of all the people that attended leaders retreat or Super Saturday, and I want you to message them something that affirms them, something like, hey, I just wanted you to know that having that time with you this last weekend was really special to me. And I appreciate that you make Plexus a priority. It inspires me. And I'm just glad we're doing this together. You're going to be going back and tying it up because you want to make sure there's closure on the fact that they committed to their event, that they showed up. You could even say, this is my biggest takeaway. I was curious what yours was. I'll put some of those scripts here, but it might take you about 10 minutes because I had we had 15 people come, and then Alita stopped by on her way to her next event and brought carloads of people into my house. It was amazing. So I'm going to go and just message everyone I can try to remember and tell them how important it was that they were there. I love seeing their faces with safe distance. Ha.